Have you ever wondered how to get on Google page one? Let me tell you how we did it. One rainy Florida afternoon, a gentleman I didn't know walked into our office. The visitor had been referred by someone I had a lot of respect for, and I had agreed to meet without knowing why he was there. The stranger was a big guy, maybe 6'6", and about as wide as he was tall. Turns out he had been a college football player, but never got drafted into the pros. He was affable, kind, gentle, and very respectful. Yes sir, no sir kind of guy. Now, I love to watch people sell. And this guy spent almost an hour at it, telling me everything he knew about how to get my business listed on Google page one. And just like all the other people attempting to get us to write a check for similar services, he was realizing that I was not going to be signing that check anytime soon. That's when he switched tactics and pulled what marketers call a risk reversal strategy. He offered to get one of our enterprises on Google page one for free. Don't pay me until I get you there, he said, and you won't have to pay me again unless I keep you there. How could I resist an offer like that? Free and free. We agreed on what his potential monthly fee would be based solely on successful performance, shook hands, and he left. Of course, I was sure I would never hear from him again. But wouldn't you know it, 3 weeks later, he called and asked me to Google our business name. I did as he asked, and sure enough, there we were, smack dab on Google's front page. Then he told me to Google about 15 other words and phrases, and on each one, there we were again, Google page one. You already know what I was thinking because you are too. How in the world did this guy do that? How did he figure out the Google algorithm mojo? Based on his performance, I gave him a few additional businesses to rank, and sure enough, 3 to 6 weeks later, he called with the exact same results, Google page one for each business. I was blown away. I had an idea. I called him up and scheduled a meeting. When we met, I asked him what part of his business he enjoyed the most, selling to skeptical prospects like I was, or working his magic on Google. When he told me he'd rather work online, I asked him if we could do his selling for him, and he readily agreed. We created a two-step campaign. The first step was a big postcard that announced our offer and drove interested business people to our website. The second step was a video where we made our offer. We spent about $5,000 promoting the new service, and in the following 8 to 10 months, we collected over $400,000 in income. Almost all of it was pure profit. And during those months, I discovered how my new partner had been so successful. He had no insider secrets or special relationships. He had simply figured out how to work his magic by taking 3 courses from a guy who decoded Google's algorithm. And he subscribed to the guy's work, and because this guy continued to decode the algorithms every time Google made an update, the system stayed up to date and effective. Of course, if you're thinking this was just too good to be true, you're right, because after about a year, his magic touch wasn't quite so magic anymore. Suddenly, we were losing clients when their businesses got pushed off of page one. Apparently, Google had developed new algorithms that were harder and harder to decode. We continued to make good money for about a year, but eventually had to accept that the business had reached its natural conclusion. We had always known the magic was bound to run out at some point. Clearly, we'd reached that point. We stopped sending the postcards and we turned off the website. I thought I'd be disappointed that we'd lost the goose that laid the golden egg until I read a Dr. Seuss quote that perfectly summed up how I felt. Don't cry because it's over. Smile because it happened.